Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome back to Transport Fever 2. Before we kick off the new episode, Happy New Year. I hope it's going to be a good one for you. Now, Transport Fever. We have the new train line, and I have had let the time progress quite a bit. We're a few years ahead. And interestingly, the trains that are running on the original line are now no longer enough to cover my infrastructure costs. Over the past couple of years, the trains have more or less been covering the bill. But some years it's just not enough. So with 1.6 million in the bank, I think it's time to start with our first train. I'm going to go with a couple of cars. Just passengers, by the way. I won't be able to get something a whole lot better than that. Let's go with a couple of Russo bolts. This might already be too expensive at 1.5 million. Unless I can have one of these things carry that. Well, that's a poor power rating. It speeds up on a flat trajectory in 3 minutes straight. That's actually not too bad. How about if I use the other one? Mediocre. Speeds up to 55 in 94 seconds. It is going to cost me 2 million, so that's quite the investment. But I think I can get away with that. And especially considering it's a greater distance. That 55 kilometer speed as opposed to 45 might just come in handy. So I just have to wait a little bit more and I'll be able to afford this train. Now that's alright, because while we're waiting, I still have another bus line to overhaul. This one in Chennai. The other bus line is actually making me quite good money. That's the one that we overhauled in the previous episode. Where are we? Here. This is the bus that now has the small west loop and the small east loop, and they're doing quite alright. In fact, I think that they're bringing in more passengers than normal, because I'm already looking at 105 passengers waiting in Chennai, or in Surat, so this is definitely something I have to pay attention to, but I don't really have the funds to actually buy more trains. So let's overhaul the bus network here too. Pause it temporarily. Remove the bus stops that are currently in existence. And let's see, what do we have? This is industrial. This is commercial. And the rest of the town is residential. So what I can do is go for a couple of stops and just probably upgrade straight away to trams. Or at least have tram stops in mind. This should cover the majority of the left flank of the town. Yeah, that'll do. Over there. And then one over here in the residential area. And what I can now do is have a tram go from here to there. And have the buses go from here to there and here to there. And that way people, let's say from the other town, who are coming back from their commercial industrial trip can go back home. And the people who come by train and want to go to either work or commercial, they can do that as well. So the lines that I have over here, not exactly counterclockwise bus anymore. This is a Chennai bus, let's say west. And the only thing that's still going to be in existence is Chennai sidings. The other one is that one. And the other one is Chennai bus east. And this one is only, where did you go? Chennai bus east. Going to have sidings and that one. That's all. And then we had that fast bus. That was pretty much doing the same thing. I'm going to completely cancel this line. Because it's doing at this point exactly the same. What I can do is just repurpose that bus line to go from, let's say, Itga Road. Remove the waypoint. Itga Road to there. That's all. And then it does take a bit of a funny route going there. So let's set up a waypoint here. And maybe that'll help. Come on. That one. Yep. So the fast bus has been repurposed to be a sort of inter-town bus. Now there's not a whole lot of passengers waiting here at the moment. They will have to shift from platform to platform, but once they've done that, it should be smooth sailing from here on out. Now, the town itself isn't growing that fast. I gotta say, 274. I think it was bigger at some point. It approached 300. The game doesn't quite let me see how big it was, but here we are. The other one, Surat, it's not doing terrible, but I think this one too has been a little bigger, or at least it definitely can get bigger. Now, one thing that I haven't done yet, and that I actually didn't do in the previous season, is plant down my HQ. I can build a headquarters. And supposedly this is going to, well, grow, I guess. I haven't actually used this mechanic yet, so I'm not sure what to expect from it. I think that since I started out with Surat and Chennai, it's only fair that I place my HQ down fairly close to it. Where do we put this? Here. And you can apparently relocate it. From what I have seen, this thing is supposed to be growing. Because right now it's just a small shed. But in the end, I think that this is going to grow into something bigger. Anyway, we have our 2.1 million. So now it's time to get that Russian class T-Type 1. And a couple of passenger cars. And go. Because we are going... Oh, hold on. Now it says fuel. That should be that one. Now, if I did this correctly, this train can go to the right track and then go to the train station. It has to wait for another train to pass, though. Yep, here we are. Now, that's not the only thing I need to start getting in motion, because this one, the tram, also has to operate. Otherwise, all of this was going to be for nothing. Let's get the horse tram, because they are far less loud than these things. 2 of these carts, and that's the central tram. And now we basically wait. Because now it's going to take a little bit of time for the passengers to realize that there's now a connection from Quanzhou to Surat. And hopefully at some point they will start to use that. Now let's have a look at our new train. Train's just outspeeding me here. Yeah, train's not exactly entirely flat. On a downward track it's doing its 55. Yeah, it seems to be fairly consistent with its speed. Doing 55 for most of the way. Flock of birds overhead. This is nice, by the way. I should slow this down a little bit, because this train's going not nearly as fast. Those seem to be oil wells on the left. So that is the new train. Onwards to Quanzhou. Now, let's see if Quanzhou already has some people who want to go south. Not yet. Not yet. But there are some people who are using the central tram line. They want to go to Quanzhou transfer. So that's a good sign. Actually, we already have 7 people on this tram. I wonder if they are all going to start to wait for that train. And it looks like... Yep, Quanzhou is growing again. Destinations. Some to Chennai. And quite a few to Surat, actually. So, before long, I'll probably have to upgrade this to have more trams, because it's simply going to get far too busy. First couple of passengers boarded the train to Surat. Yeah, there's already 12 waiting there, and that's a bit more than I can carry. These things can only carry 7, and they seem to also pick up passengers over here. Let's go for 2 more. Now, this should also place a bit more of a strain on the people, or on the bus lines here in Surat. Look at that. 24. Excellent. Now, this train is going to take a fair amount of time to get from one point to the other. It's going to take 14 minutes frequency. So, well, if you want to take the train, you can, but you're going to have to be quite patient. Because at this rate, or rather, with this frequency, sure enough, you'll be able to make that train. But you'll be spending probably upwards of a few months in the other town before you can get back. That is just something that the people will have to live with. Okay, this is blowing up a whole lot more than I had expected. 33 people waiting to go to the train station. That's not nearly what I can carry. Even though I already have a lot more of the trams on this line. I have 4 of them at this point. 7 people waiting there. And here she is. I don't think with 7 we're going to cover 324,000. But wow, 80 is not bad. And we're full. With another 13 waiting. Now, if I wanted to, could I make this train even bigger? Because right now it's using that one. And it's using 4 of these. Yeah, I can add still quite a few before the game is going to go... No, you're going to go into poor power rating. Mediocre I find acceptable, but poor is just not good enough for me. Because then the trains don't speed up enough. So what I would like to do is, if there is enough demand, just to upgrade this to have a few more cars. They start out with 44 at this point, and I can upgrade that to 77 apparently. And I might do that sooner rather than later. This is getting out of hand here. Quanzhou transfer. Everybody wants to go to Quanzhou transfer. Now something else that I have been doing off camera is upgrading the crude line. I have added yet more vehicles. Reason being is that I thought I would start out with the other train. I thought I'd start out with the fuel train. So what I have over here is an oversupply of fuel for Quanzhou. And sure enough, I can transport more to town. But I also want to be transporting some fuel back to Surat. Which I can, if I have a train for it. That's nice, 500,000. I can if I have a train for it. The thing is, at the moment I don't have a train that can carry this and still be fairly affordable. So I'm just going to keep this as is for the moment. And I know that I might be wasting some fuel, so be it. This line's going to have to get upgraded even more. And, well, they're not quite driving bumper to bumper yet. But it is sure as hell busy here. Okay, we got the NW first truck. What is that like? All cargo. Can transport 6. Has a capacity or an emission of 76. Does 20. These things also do 20, right? Yeah. Okay, so why do I benefit? Or what do I benefit if I send that? So they carry 1 item more. It had a unique engine setup that allowed 2 engines to be operated in succession depending on load requirements. Okay. Their tractive power is better, but I don't really see how that's going to be an issue here. It's not like their loading speed is any better either. No, I'll just wait for something other than that to come up. Something else that might be more interesting. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if our train has... Yep, there she is. Has just made the return trip. That's another 391,000. And another 44 waiting to go back. Now, I have 1.4 million. I think it's time to upgrade this train. Yeah, I'll look into that in a second game. Hang on. Passengers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Replace for 1.3 million. Done. Now I should have more transport capability on that one train. I just hope that my trams can now bring in enough... Well, enough people. There are enough people, not enough trams. That's the issue here. And I could upgrade to this, but that's a very loud vehicle. 79 emission. The streetcars are just a lot quieter. Guess I have to wait for another train to come in. We have 41 people waiting here, with another tram depositing more. I think that this could be a very interesting new money-making train. There she is. It's running at about 500,000 a year. And right now it's already making me $500,000 a year. Just this one train on, well, 2 trips. 1 to and 1 from. 48 there. 59 there. Okay, how does that tie into my transport network as is? Because these people have to want to go somewhere once they arrive on the train. And seemingly they're still happy with the amount of service. It's not like I'm getting a massive amount of passengers here, there, or there. So that seems to be going okay. Over here, this too seems to be alright. I'm not getting some of those excessive numbers of transports. Okay, a couple of new vehicles. Give me an update on those lines. Yep, 20,000, 14,000 and 9,000. The fast bus, by the way, is not exactly the fast bus anymore. Intra-city. Because that's what it's doing. It's bringing people from here to there. How many people are using my lines? 40%. That's good. Oh, sorry. Intra-city. Chennai. 16%. A couple of people want to go to Quanzhou. A couple of people want to go to Surat. Or actually, quite a few people. And some want to go to Shenyang. That's something that they're going to have to do by their own car. Because I don't have a line to there yet. Okay. Now, I was going to upgrade the trams. And I think I'm going to have to do that pretty damn soon. Because I have almost 80 people waiting there. I'll take another 5. That still won't be enough. But it's going to have to suffice for a little bit. Because I don't want to blow all my money into just buying more trams. 28,000. That's not bad. Okay, so it seems like things are getting to actually seriously profitable levels at this point. Sure enough, I'm not earning that much this year. Although I think that my train might have just arrived. Because I just received another 1 million. Now, there is something that I wanted to fix in the previous, or from the previous episode. This town has, how shall I put this, a bit of a funny look to it. And I thought I would just round out the corners, and we shall not speak of it again. And Beijing actually is also growing quite nicely. This was a fairly small place. What was it, 59? Not even, 56. And it's now up to 104. Because it's getting all the food that it wants. Some people are going by car to somewhere. Because it says that it's getting some growth from residents which are traveling by private transport. Where they're going, I don't know. And the game doesn't know it either. So I guess they're just using their car to go shopping in the same town. Something like that. While I catch Beijing not too large, by the way, I might want to throw down a train station here. So that eventually I can also call or tie it into Quanzhou. The thing is, where do you build that? Trains can be fairly loud. So it doesn't need to be too much inside the town. Let's set the maintenance to something higher. For Beijing, I would potentially late game want to go to Yangon. So that's 1 track, 2 tracks, 3 tracks, 4 tracks, 5, 6. Holy shit, that's a lot. Pass. Could I tie in Novosibirsk instead? Novosibirsk is actually a little bigger. Yeah, this might be more interesting to go for. I still have that transport line for construction materials and for stone. And I can actually supply double of what I'm currently supplying. These are the older ones. These the newer ones. 20. Those are the standard ones, yeah. Okay, I'll add 2 more to that one. And I'll add 2 more to that one. Okay. How about the other line? Because I was supplying food to Beijing, but food over here seems good. I don't really need to be adding too much more. Maybe 1 vehicle each. Beijing grain. Manage vehicles. Duplicate 1. Do we have an excessive amount of food here? No, not exactly. What kind of vehicles are we using? Oh, we're using the old ones. Replace. I can replace it for the first truck. No, I don't see the benefit. That. Okay. I really don't see the benefit from using the first truck, as they call it. All it is noisy. It has a bit more lifespan. Maybe that's it. So that... Or actually, no, it doesn't even. It's not even that. Power. You got more than twice the power for that vehicle and just 1 more capacity. I don't really see how that 1 point more capacity could really make up for it. Now, money is coming in really fast now. I'm at 1.2 million this year. And that is including an investment of 400,000. So I think that that new train line is doing really well. So ideally, I'd be building another one of these trains. But maybe go for the Chennai line first. Because that seems to be something that people really want. And the other one maybe not as much. Okay, manage vehicle. Train 1 was a very old one. Replace. Steam. Let's... Oh, I cannot even buy the old vehicle anymore. One of those. Thing is, I can do this, but I'll have some trains doing 40 and some trains doing 55. So if I'm going to go for this, I'd have to do it with all the trains at the same time. Or just change it into 2 longer trains. Yeah, let's do that. Manage vehicles, everything, sell. 3.3 million. That might not be enough. Aha. My favorite button is back. I can borrow more. And considering that I'm now making good money, I can actually borrow quite a bit. Why do I care about this difference? It has more power and more attractive effort. Okay, let's say I want the capacity of 77 there as well. If I add this one, it's going to be a mediocre power rating. If I add this one, it's still going to be a mediocre power rating. If I add that, still mediocre. How much do you need for good? Mediocre. Still mediocre. The mediocre is not necessarily bad on this particular track because it's fairly flat. It's fairly stable. So let's just go for this one. That's 3 million, and I will take 2 of those. They are gonna, if I'm not mistaken, come out of the depot. Hello? Why are you sitting in the depot? Because I hadn't assigned them to a line. Yeah, that would do it. That would be the problem. Did this cause any trouble here? No, it didn't. 65 there. Autosave. 65 there. 70 there. Perfect. Perfect. If you just kindly go to the other side. he's still waiting for a free path. Hold up. Oh, I don't have the cash for that. Ah, well, we'll just have to wait for this train to pass. A bit negative at this point, but that's not too bad. Once one of those trains arrives, this one for example, I'm probably going to be looking at another 1 million. Now, is the situation over here doing any better? Yeah, there's no massive queue over here. There's no massive queue over here in Quanzhou. The population has grown to 481. That means I can also transport more fuel to it. How are the trams doing? Tram. 20,000. And the other one is making me... Hold on, that's the wrong line. This one. 35,000. That's very good for a tram. Very, very nice. Okay, so I say things are going well. Sure enough, I am getting more of a loan. I now have a loan of 13 million as opposed to 10 million. And I'm not going to stop there. Next episode, I'm going to be borrowing more and spending more. Now, at this year, I don't think I'm going to get positive. There you go. I spent 5 million. That's because I invested 6 million in trains. But those millions of funds should start to pay off once these trains actually start making money. This one already has a little bit, 320,000, and this one not exactly, because it arrived shortly after the other train. Or at least that's my estimate, and as such was not able to pick up enough people from Surat. But that shall be resolved fairly soon. Anyway, that's all for this episode. Hope you're enjoying the show so far. Hope you're having a good new year, and I shall catch you soon for another video.